I'm excited to finally get him up on the showcase. Put your hands together right now, guys, for Robert Rule.
Thank you. So, I didn't have a particularly exciting New Year's this year. I've had more exciting New Year's before. 2 years ago, I actually went to a party that I wasn't even invited to. That would sound a lot cooler if it hadn't been at the house that I lived in. My roommate and I did not get along. He wasn't the worst roommate I ever had, though. He was just an asshole. The worst roommate I ever had was fucking creepy. I realize that sounds weird coming from me since I look like I used the internet to learn how to make bombs out of stuffed animals. But hear me out. First of all, this guy was 49. I was 24 at the time. Also, he was a conspiracy theorist, so he would say really weird things to me, like, Robert, don't use Gmail. You know why? Because it's not Google Mail. It's government mail. But I think the creepiest thing about this guy had to be the fact that his name was Walter. You don't trust somebody named Walter who was born after Pearl Harbor. You had a couple now in 2019, and they were expecting a little boy and said they were going to name him Walter. What they're really telling you is, we don't want anyone to invite our son to a birthday party ever. That, of course, happened when I was living in Philadelphia for a few years. Philadelphia, for those of you who don't know, is a sanctuary city, and conservatives don't like that because they think that sanctuary just means immigrants will come and commit crimes. Here's my question, though. How is a crime any worse if it's committed by an immigrant? I don't think anyone's ever gotten mugged, and the next day they told their friend, oh, it was terrible last night. This guy with a gun came up to me, he took my wallet, my phone, and the worst part was he didn't even speak English. You know, a couple of years ago, a woman got killed by a drunk driver who happened to be an immigrant, and immediately conservatives said, see, this is why we can't have these people in our country. Why? Because they're taking away opportunities from American drunk drivers? So, something else that happened when I was living in Philadelphia, I had a job where a female coworker forced herself on me. Platonically, and I don't like it. I've never liked it when someone thinks that I'm their friend just because they said so. When I was in first grade, you know, there was a kid in my class who forced himself on me platonically, and he gave me the stupidest reason for why we should be friends. He actually said to me, Robert, you have to be my friend because I think I knew you a long time ago. What? A long time ago? You're 6. There's no such thing as a long time ago. But fast forward a few years later, I was in high school, and a kid introduced himself to me by saying, I have no friends. Weirdly enough, that didn't make me want to be his friend. Also weird, he did not shoot up the school. Spineless asshole. So, after one of the many school shootings that happened in the past year, it doesn't matter which one, a politician actually said this sort of thing wouldn't happen if kids would just be friends with these kids. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd like a more compelling reason to be friends with someone other than not wanting them to kill me. Also, if a kid's so driven that he's going to gun down his classmates, do you think he was ever really that receptive to other people? I feel like maybe one time someone might have said to him, hey man, we're playing basketball after school, you want to join us? And he would have just said, I can't, I have to go home and study the school's blueprints. So I do not have any kids, but I know that when some people have kids, they say that they don't want their kids to be gay or autistic or female. I say if I have kids, I just don't want any of them to have a fucking peanut allergy. So, being a comedian, whenever I tell people that I do comedy, I sometimes get weird questions. One time, somebody asked me, "Hey, Robert, would you ever do what Louis C.K. did?" I'm like, dude, I can't even masturbate in a room where there's a mirror, much less another person. No, I wouldn't do that. Here's the thing, if I'm in a room and I'm masturbating and there's a mirror, my reflection, not masturbating. My reflection is like, yeah, that's great, Robert, hurry up. Maybe after you finish, we can go out and get you some real action, you coward. So I do go on dates occasionally, despite the fact that I tell jokes like that. And despite the fact that I sound like Kermit the Frog fucking Ray Romano. I'm not very good at dating, though. I recently got broken up with, and at first I was upset, but then I realized I might have dodged a bullet because I had been dating a grown woman who used the word tinkle. Now look, this is what I don't like about the word tinkle. If a woman says it, it's fine. It's cute. No one worries. But if a man says it, all of a sudden he's not allowed within 500 feet of any K through 12 schools. I'm not good at dating. I recently got rejected by a girl because she told me she was asexual. I was like, what? No. No way, you're not asexual. I don't believe it, no. You are not capable of reproducing by splitting yourself in two. So I'll leave you with this. Growing up, I had a near-death experience. When I was 12, I was in a near-fatal car crash. Wasn't near fatal for the driver, though. He died. But I gotta tell you, the worst part of that whole experience for me had to be going back to school because other kids thought they could just ask me anything they wanted to about it. They would say things like, "Robert, what was it like being in a coma?" As if it were an exotic vacation. What was it like? I don't know, you idiot. I was unconscious. That's what makes it a coma. But I think the most annoying question I got that whole time was from this one girl who said to me, "So when you were in a coma, did you lose weight?" Yeah. Oh my God, I wish I could go into a coma. I wish you could too. All right, guys, that's it for me. Give it back to your host, Brandon.
Listen, the moment we found out that he was a jerk-off vampire, we had